Hello and welcome to another episode of ClueCon Weekly. Today I am honored to introduce Krunal Patel. He is the Chief Revenue Officer over at Ecosmob and also an avid FreeSWITCH user and expert. So today I wanted to talk about how AI is solving some of the problems in telecom and just communication between businesses. So Krunal, thank you so much for joining the podcast. And if there's anything else you wanted to add on to your intro, if you introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Thank you, John, for having me today. John, to introduce myself, so I have been working with Ecosmob since 2007 when it was started. So I am a tech person. So when I started, I joined as a software engineer, right? I myself is one of the VoIP engineer, you can say. Okay, and for almost 10 years, I worked on building different telephony infrastructure, like great infrastructure. Okay, and then I moved to sales. So I'm a techno-commercial person, and I'm heading the sales team at Ecosmob. So it's been almost 18 years.
Really? Yeah, that's a long time in telecom. You definitely see ups and downs and a lot of the change in landscape, and I think that kind of comes on. Comes on to the topic today. You know, AI has definitely revolutionized how it is that we communicate, how we're building applications, how we're working, you know, even individually as teams. But before we really talk about some of the new tools or ways that telecom has, you know, changed the landscape, I was curious if you could just dabble on like what problems you see small and medium businesses kind of facing these days, and where you think that AI really has a place in order to kind of solve them.
Sure. So if I talk about small and medium-sized businesses, right? So definitely each of them would be having a type of telephony system with them, right? Or a phone system they would, okay? However, how AI is resolving the problem. So let me talk about the problems. Major problems I have observed is that one of the problem would be unavailability during the after hours, right? Limited human resources, right? So they may not be having, so as they are a small or medium-sized businesses, they may not be having the privilege to have resources, human resources available 24/7 to take care of any customer queries, right? Then, so as well as if the businesses are working in multiple countries, right? So there can be challenges related to different language barriers. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Apart from so apart from that, sometimes, of course, we are human beings. We are there to make mistakes, right? So sometimes we miss follow-up calls with a customer, or sometimes we miss responding any customers, or there can be slow responses during because of the holidays or weekends, right? So there are so many different challenges, right? I am listing out some of the major key challenges over here. And one of the major challenge is keeping the track or the record of each conversation with the customer. That is also through different communication channels, right? For example, I'm communicating with you over the voice call or over the text messages or another communication channel, right? It will be very difficult for me to put all those data into a CRM, right?
Oh yeah.
So these are some, and I'm from sales now, of course tech before, but now sales. So I understand different challenges and the mistakes happen by the salespeople, right? So these are some challenges which are there, even if the people or the businesses are having excellent phone system with them or excellent communication channels with them, right? So I believe that AI is there to resolve these major challenges, which can help them to have better customer experience and better customer engagement.
Yeah, I think you nailed it perfectly. Customer experience is the most important thing. But some of the problems that you mentioned, you know, it seemed like they've kind of been problems for a long time. You know, they mentioned like the language barrier, you know, or dealing with customer after hours, you know, being able to staff those. Even the data that you get during the call or after the call, kind of actioning on those, not only getting it, but then organizing it and being able to kind of use it in a meaningful way. And as I'm
Right.
sure, as you mentioned, having a lot of experience in telecom, you've probably seen, a lot of different solutions kind of shoved at them. And, I'm sure we thought, oh, this is finally going to solve it. It's going to be so much better. It's going to heighten that customer
Right.
experience.
Right.
I'm curious, like your excitement level for what you've seen rolled out of AI. Maybe if there's
Mhm.
any tools or methodologies that you're kind of adopting that are able to solve these challenges better than some of the previous enablements or implementations of
Sure.
stuff.
So, without mentioning any names of the tools, I would like
Mm-hmm.
to touch base some use cases, right, or some of the solutions. Okay. So, a classic example. So, whenever I am communicating with any of my colleagues or any customers, right, one classic example I'm talking with them, because that is related to majority of the small businesses which
Mm-hmm.
are providing any type of professional services or any services. For instance, there is a clinic or or a salon, right, where they usually need to hire some people to take care of appointment, right? Okay. Even for our today's like ClueCon Weekly, right?
Mm-hmm.
My team and your team had to collaborate and communicate to set up this particular schedule, right?
Yep.
Okay. So there are AI tools which can take care of the appointments, not only appointment scheduling, but also rescheduling, canceling the, for example, there is a clinic, right? And there is some emergency with doctor, right? And they have to cancel their all the appointments for the day, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
there is a person, then that person will do that job in sequence, right? Whereas there is AI, if once it is instructed, that can do this job, that thing in parallel, right? So for example, there are 20 appointments, right? Instantly, like those 20 appointments, 20 people are called and they are informed that, okay, today the appointment is cancelled. If you want to reschedule, let us know the time, right? And
Mm-hmm.
also now AI is very, I would say, the voice codes in AI, they are more mature, I would say, and you feel that, okay, you are communicating with a human, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is one of the classic example which affects majority of the small businesses, right? Okay. So and again, my personal opinion about the AI is that AI is there to empower the human. Okay, it is not there to replace them. It is there to empower them so that the repetitive task can be taken care by AI, and we as a human can focus on more complex or those tasks where actually our intelligence is required.
Mm-hmm.
So
No.
appointment tracking and those stuff can be taken care by AI, I believe, right? And also they can be integrated with different appointment systems, right? So that even the human doesn't need to take care of manual entries, and better the human can, so the same people who were earlier taking care of the appointment tracking, right, or appointment system, right, they can take care of the customers who are visiting them in person, and they can possibly upsell them their services, as well as they can provide them better in-person customer experience.
Yeah. No.
So as I
I
said, they are AI is not replacing them.
mm-hmm.
AI is
No. And
increasing their productivity.
when you were mentioning just the tasks and what goes into just processes that could be enhanced. I know, shout out
Right.
Chelsea as she does all the scheduling for these ClueCon weeklies, but as you know, it's a lot big back and forth, and I think that she'll be really happy to hear if we can build a system to make that easier for her. But
So
it,
we
it
can
really
have.
is, yeah, exactly, it
Yeah.
really is
Yeah.
empowering humans, and
Right.
I think a lot of the tasks that we have and that we do, can definitely simply be automated. And
Right.
I think this kind of rolls along to my next part, where a lot of people have some disdain, or it's really difficult to get them to adopt to new practices, where
Mhm.
they're kind of scared of, whether it being new things, or even if we're talking about a specific customer end user, who's dialing in and talking to like a voice agent, you know, sometimes they just say, hey, I just want to talk to a human. So that's a lot of kind of the feedback that we've been seeing in the adoption of our products, where we are trying to kind of phrase it in that way of just assisting and helping automate the things, so that at the end of the day, the customer experience is a lot better.
Exactly.
You know, when I dial a phone tree in IVR, and I'm having to kind of talk to them, and then I talk to one person, but then I have to repeat it again to the next person. You know, a lot of these things, there are solutions and answers out there, but the adoption part of it, I do think is a struggle. You know, maybe on like a societal level or anything of that. I was curious if you have experienced any resistance in terms of how people are adapting to like this new AI world, or even if you are releasing products, and that goes both for internally, maybe with employees, if you guys at Ecosmob have any tools, or then, you know, later rolling it out to an end user if you guys are creating a product. So if there's any what your hurdles are in adoption for that.
So yes, at Ecosmob, we have been working on building different AI use cases for our different customers, right? And a couple of them are in basically customer engagement use cases I'm talking about, right? So a couple of these customers are in kind of contact center services, right? Where they are taking care of answering services, or they are taking care of like outreach, right? Customer outreach, right? So we have been dealing with implementing different use cases for them. So earlier you were talking about a particular use case, right, where the people are communicating, right? And so just imagine that, and you talk about that. Okay, you called in an idea, right? You are connected with one agent. Now that agent is transferring to you his or her manager, right? Then you need to explain that again, right? And that can happen. That can happen third time as well, right? So what about? Just imagine that you had a conversation with the first agent, right? Whatever you have described them, whatever your problem you have described that agent, right? If the agent is not able to resolve it, or better approach is that you are first connected with a voice bot and AI, right? Where you talk about your issues, AI can try to help resolve it primarily. Okay, if that is not resolved, it is transferred to the AI agent, transferred to a human agent, right? And that human agent is already having the summary of your conversation, which you had with the AI, right? Okay. Now, so basically, that person will not ask you again about your problem. Possibly, that person start talking about the solution of your problem. If not able to resolve your problem, then possibly whatever conversation happening between you and that human agent is transferring your call to his or her supervisor, right? So that supervisor again have the call summary with them, right? Possibly AI can assist them that okay, this was the previous conversation, and possibly this can be the possible solutions, so that person can communicate with you. So overall, this is more about effectively and efficiently communicating with the customer. At the same time, of course, time is money, right? So saving overall call time, right? So earlier, like if we talk about like before AI, right? We were waiting on long queues. Okay, any customer calling in the customer care, they were waiting in the long queues, right? Now that is reduced drastically with the adoption of the AI. Okay, so I think yes, AI adoption can take time, but I think the overall time, if we compare with any other technology in past, right, the AI adoption is very quick. Okay, even the subscribers of ChatGPT, that was record breaking, right, in a single day, right? So now just imagine that AI people are aware of the AI. Okay, even the, if I'm not wrong, even the elder people are also using it. Like they are day to day, they are using ChatGPT, right, for their for their help, right, for their assistance, right. So we were talking about different problem solutions. So, for example, earlier, even for myself, right? Earlier, I was using to-do list. Okay, I was creating a to-do list. It happens that sometimes I miss to check what task to be done today, right? So I am definitely looking for some voice code which can tell me that okay, this is your to-do for today, right? I'm looking for that. I will once I get the right one, then I will just start to use it because that helps me out. Okay,
Yeah.
that reduces my so what I believe is that if a person needs to go to check something, right, there is a possibility that person will forget about it. Of course, not intentionally, but because of other work priorities, right?
Yeah, things happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's better that you have some assistant which can simply pops up that okay, this is your task. Okay. You forget about this, right? So that type of voice code or chat codes can help to increase the productivity and the efficiency, right? Now I was talking about if you are doing business in multiple countries, right, where possibly language becomes a barrier, right? Then you can have a voice bot which can take care of the translation. Okay, so earlier we were using the human translator, right? That also can be done with AI, which can help you translate the call. Like, let's say I'm from India, I speak Gujarati or Hindi, right? You speak English. Let's imagine that okay, I don't know English and you don't know Gujarati. So
Yeah.
we can have a AI bot which can help us the translate. Of course, it can take a little bit more time communication, but the communication can be more effective.
No, that efficiency
Yeah.
cannot be understated, as well as just the power of communicating. You don't realize
Right.
how difficult or how efficient some
Right.
of these can be. Even
Right.
having a live translator, I know I've had to have that in multiple meetings where the meeting
Right.
is then twice as long because they have to translate that through. And with how good these models are at understanding context, it really
Mhm.
has blown my mind
Exactly.
with how much better it is.
So,
You know,
so you talk about the right point that the context, right? So with the
yeah.
human translator, they know the language, but they don't know the context, right? And they don't know the tech things we are talking about, right? So sometimes they simply translate it, but they cannot share with the emotion or share with that context, right? So
Exactly.
I think with AI, that problem can be resolved.
Yeah. So on you mentioned queues. That's a huge point that I don't think gets enough attention. Just saying that your customers no longer have to sit in queues to get a majority of their problems solved. At the end of the
Right.
day, we're still going to have some human agents, and it's not like anyone thinks
Mhm.
that those are going completely away anytime soon. But
Right.
to be able to effectively handle those things, and then
Mhm.
another point, humans make errors. Things happen. And
Right.
I know you're a far busier person than I am, and I still feel like I'm overwhelmed with stuff. And when we can just have the system do its thing that needs to happen, rather than
Right.
having a human intervention that's then just going to tell the computer system what it is. And
Right.
a lot of these integrations kind of bring me to one of my next points is that with small and medium sized companies, a lot of their resources is a huge point of contention. And specifically tech resources in order to build some of these systems. So how do
Mhm.
you balance where they need more functionalities and features with these AI agents? They need to be able to do multitasks, but that
Mhm.
also requires a little bit more level of development. So that seems to be one of the balance beams that I
Mhm.
encounter a lot, and I'm curious what your take on that is, and maybe if that balancing act has kind of shifted a little bit in terms of now how much more efficiently we can kind of build some of these systems, or where do you
Mhm.
kind of draw that line between you need to be an AI engineer, but also you're a small shop and you only have this many things. how do you kind of tackle and where do you kind of draw the line with that?
Sure. See, there are. So I can talk about the example that SignalWire has already implemented an AI engine, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's about and yes, one of my team is evaluating that, and we already had a couple of calls with your team.
Nice,
that's
nice. Shout out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So apart from this, so there can be, depending on the customer's needs, right? There can be different options available. For example, for some customers, they simply want the functionality, right? They do not care where the AI engine resides, right? Or which AI engine to be used, right? Or usually they are focused on more like operational excellence. In that case, we simply need to connect the SIP stack or the voice engine with the AI engine, right? And possibly we need to implement some kind of voice port connector, right? Okay. In some cases where customer wants to have everything reside in their data center, right? So in that case, we need to utilize either OpenAI based infrastructure, right? Where everything stays in their infra, nothing goes on the cloud, right? So, and of course, to do the fast development, that's AI, right? Which can help, I would say, which can assist the developers to do the coding right, maintaining the proper coding standard, okay, and avoiding any possible bugs. Of course, there are hallucinations. So I'm not too much techy in AI, okay, but still there is hallucination in AI. So the human, as I was saying earlier, that AI is not there to replace human, right? But empower or increase their productivity or efficiency, right? So let's say AI can help them to build the code or write the code, but at the end, we as an engineer, we need to review that and we need to structure that in right manner. Okay, because there is a possibility that the code generated by AI may have some bugs. Possible.
Yeah, exactly. And systems
maybe sometimes
go down.
It is out of context.
Yeah, exactly. And especially you were mentioning like hallucinations or making sure that it is correct. You know, that fine tuning, because at the end of the day, the trust is really difficult to get back once it's lost. You know, it's difficult to achieve, and it's really easy to lose it in case you do have you know, a system like that. So the fine tuning of our agents is definitely where I end up spending most of the time. Where you know, we've been getting a lot of tools to help us be able to get 80 or 90% of projects done, whether it be Cursor, SignalWire SDK, a new version of you know, an LLM that, you know, is now able to understand things a little bit better. But at the end of the day, you know, we're still gonna have our trusty humans here to end up saving the day and to be able to design those. But really, my last question, or just to open up the floor for anything you want to plug, is what haven't we talked about that you wanted to discuss, or what do you have going on in your world at Ecosmob?
Sure. So basically, yes, as I mentioned, that we started as a custom software development company in voice over IP industry, right? Back in 2007, right? But with the industry trends, right, we are also working in AI. And as the topic suggests, that AI resolving major communication issues for the SMBs, right? So we are working for different service providers who are providing services to small and medium-sized businesses, even some large enterprises, right? So whenever we work on any unified communication platform or any CPaaS platform for them, right? We and of course nowadays we are adding AI capabilities into it, so that they can make sure they are capable enough to provide or resolving these issues of different kind of industry of their customers. Okay, so for example, some customers can be from healthcare, some customers can be from, let's say, HR agency. Right? For example, one another example just came in mind that there can be AI. Even there can be some AI out there, but which can help HR agencies to screen different candidates. Okay, so that that the HRs can receive only those screen profiles with them. Okay, so for example, and even right now we are talking about this AI, but I can recall that around 8 years back we worked on some project where we were working for a customer back in North America, where they started some platform related to recruitment. Okay, and we implemented a system for them where it was recording the video of the candidates and providing the sentiment analysis. Right,
that's huge.
That time even AI not a buzzword. Okay, so just an example. So at Ecosmob, we are working on different AI use cases at this moment, which can resolve such challenges. So even lately, we have been. So why I talk about multilingual support or language translation? Because we have been receiving such inquiries lately, where our prospects wants to have some conference room where they can have AI agent which can take care of the language translation.
Yeah.
So yes, there are there are people looking for such technology.
Definitely, yeah. As I was mentioning, there's even a place for it, and even taking it one step further, taking over my role in most video conference calls. Then training those translators to be able to give the answer
Right.
and. I'm ashamed to say how much better they are at my job than I even am. But building those systems, luckily, is what's going to help empower us humans to be able to do those types of things. And yeah, quick shout out to Ecosmob as a development partner. I know you work really closely with SignalWire, and we've used you guys, I know, internally to help develop some things for us, as well as some customers of ours as well. We will send your way. So they get our golden stamp of approval. I know we'll see you and at ClueCon, as you guys are a good member of the community there in the FreeSWITCH environment. But Krunal, thank you so much for joining the episode today. Thanks for joining the podcast.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Of course.